Hi Moninda, this is a video to help you out with quiz number 22, which is about how we write linear equations when we've been given a couple of pieces of information. Either we know two ordered pairs, or we know one ordered pair and the slope. So I'm going to give you three examples here. So here's example number one. Now, a couple of things we need to keep in mind. One, we need the equation for slope. So the equation for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That means we're talking about two ordered pairs. The ordered pair x1, y1 and the ordered pair x2, y2. So we need two ordered pairs in order to figure out the slope. Of course, the other equation that we need to keep in mind is y equals mx plus b. For this equation, we always need to figure out what the slope is, and we need to figure out what the y-intercept is, right? So slope, y-intercept. Okay? So, like I said, we'll do three examples, and hopefully this will make it a little bit clearer about how to do these kind of problems. So, first things first, I need to give you a couple of ordered pairs. So here's one ordered pair. The ordered pair 2, negative 2. And then the other ordered pair would be, let's see, negative 4, negative 14. Okay, so in this situation, this is x1, this is y1, and this would be x2 and y2, okay? Now I am allowed to switch these around, and this could be x2 and y2, and this could be x1 and y1. As long as we label them, it's fine. So now we're going to figure out the slope. So m is equal to, so we want to do y2 minus y1. So here's y2, negative 14, minus, and then we want to do y1. Well, y1 is negative 2. Similarly, we want to do x2 minus x1. x2 minus x1. So x2 is negative 4 minus, and then x1 is the number 2. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're just going to do some order of operations. We're going to do, let's see, negative 14 minus negative 2 is really the same thing as negative 14 plus 2, because two negatives will make a positive. Then in the denominator, negative 4 minus 2 equals negative 6. We'll keep working here. Negative 14 plus 2 is negative 12 over negative 6. And then negative 12 divided by negative 6, a negative divided by a negative will make it positive. So we get the number 2. So this is our slope. Okay? So we figured out slope, which is key to solving this kind of problem. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll here a little bit. I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to put it into my y equals mx plus b equation. So I'm going to go y is equal to, then I'm going to put my slope 2 x plus b. All right, so I know my slope. We figured that out. Now what we need to figure out is what's the b value. So choose one of the two ordered pairs. It doesn't matter which one you pick. So I'm going to use x1, y1. So when we have the ordered pair 2, negative 2, what we're saying is that when x is equal to 2, y is equal to negative 2. And I can put that information into my equation. So y is equal to negative 2. Then we have 2 times x. And in this situation, x was 2 plus b. So now we're going to do a little bit of algebra here. Negative 2 is equal to 2 times 2, that's 4, plus b. Now I want to get b by itself. So the way we get rid of b, get b by itself, is we got to get rid of that. We've got to get rid of this 4. Where's my marker here? We got to get rid of the 4. So how do I get rid of the 4? I subtract 4 from both sides. So now I get negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6 is equal to b. So now I know my y-intercept. My y-intercept is negative 6. My y-intercept is negative 6. So now I can write my equation. It is y equals 2x. Whoops, maybe I'll just keep that same pen color. Minus 6. There's my slope. There's my y-intercept. Okay, let's look at a second example. Again, we're going to use ordered pairs, 2 ordered pairs, and we're going to try to figure out a linear equation. So my 2 ordered pairs are going to be, let's see, 6, 1, and 10, negative 1. And let's see what we get for a slope. So the first thing we need to figure out is slope. Now remember, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to say that this is x1 and that's y1. This is x2 and this is y2. Okay? So I'm just going to plug these numbers into this formula and see what we figure out for slope. So m equals, I'm going to do y2 negative 1 minus y1. And then I'll do x2 minus x1. So let's do some subtraction here. So negative 1 minus 1, that's negative 2. 10 minus 6 is positive 4. And then if I reduce my fraction, we should keep our slope as fractions. We get a slope of negative 1/2. So this is my slope right here. Okay? So now what I know in my equation so far is that y is equal to negative 1/2. Whoops, let me use a different color there just to show you where slope fits in here. Here's negative 1/2 x plus b, right? Because that's the other equation that we have to keep in mind. Y is equal to mx plus b, right? So we figured out what m is. We figured out what the slope is. Now we need to figure out what b is. So I'm going to take one of my 2 ordered pairs. So I'm going to try the ordered pair 6, 1. So that means x equals 6, y is equal to 1, and I'm going to substitute these 2 values into the equation. So maybe what I'll do is I will use red to represent, so we'll say x is equal to 6, y is equal to 1. So I'm going to put 1 for y, and then we have negative 1/2, and then I'm going to put 6 for x plus b. Now let's do a little algebra. First we got to simplify this. Negative 1/2 times 6, that is going to be negative 3. So I have 1 equals negative 3 plus b. Now I want to solve for b. I want to get b by itself. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. So what we get is that b is equal to 4. So now my equation in y equals mx plus b form is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. That's my equation. Y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 4. There's my slope. There's my y-intercept. Okay? So let's take a look at one more example. So suppose you've been given the slope. Slope is equal to negative 4, and you have an ordered pair. And I want to know the line that has this slope that also includes this ordered pair. So this is actually kind of nice because I don't have to figure out what slope is. I already know what slope is. So all I really need to do is work with my equation here. Y is equal to mx plus b. Okay? So the good thing is that for slope, I can substitute the negative 4. So I can say y is equal to, I'll use a different color here. I'll say, and there's negative 4. There's my slope. X plus b. And we're going to figure out what b is equal to. So because we have this ordered pair, what we know is that we know x is equal to negative 2 and that y is equal to 12. So I can substitute these values into my equation here and figure out what b is equal to. So I'm going to use red for the ordered pair. So I know that y is equal to 12, so I'll put 12 here. 12 equals, then I have my slope, negative 4. And I'm going to multiply that negative 4 times x, which is negative 2 plus b. And now I'm going to do some algebra. So 12 equals negative 4 times negative 2, that's a positive 8, plus b. Now I want to solve for b. I want to get b by itself, so I need to get rid of this 8. So we subtract 8, and what I do to one side, I got to do to the other. So I get that b is equal to 4. So now I know my equation. My equation, if I plug in the slope here and my y-intercept here, I get the ordered pair. I mean, get the equation y is equal to negative 4x plus 4. There's my slope. There's my y-intercept. So I hope this helps. If you have any other questions, just let me know.